Hey everybody, this is Debbie with Rustic Stuff. I'm going to show y'all today how to paint and cover the top of this cedar chest. I'm going to paint it with farmhouse creamy linen paint. I'm going to do farmhouse antiquing gel, and then you'll have a whole new cedar chest for your child's room, or you might want to use it in a cottage or something. We're hoping this Georgia weather holds off for us. So all I'm going to clean it with is this all-purpose cleaning vinegar. I get mine from Home Depot. I think that's Home Depot brand. I'm just going to saturate my paper towel here and just start cleaning it. If you have some really bad spots on it, you might want to sand it, but this is in pretty good shape, so I don't really have to worry about that. So I'm just going to go over the whole thing with vinegar. And what the vinegar does is it kind of cuts whatever stuff might be on there. You might have dirt, you might have built up wax. If you're painting something that's in a kitchen, you might have some built up stuff from kitchens that fly through the air. But so this is all I'm going to do is just clean this really well, get it dust free. If your piece seems really clean already, you really don't have to do this step. I just feel like it's something you should do. So that's the cleaning process. And next I'm going to show you how to paint with farmhouse paint. The next step is I'm going to take the top off. So I've just already unscrewed the backs, because I'm going to cover this top with the burlap that you see here. So I'm going to show you also how to cover a top with the burlap. So I'm going to put this away, take the top off, unscrew the back, unscrew the hinges, and we'll take this off when we're done painting. We're going to use the cheesecloth here for the antiquing, and I'll show y'all how to do that later. So I've taken my creamy linen from Farmhouse, and I've chosen this light color because I'm going to do a gel over the top of it. So what you're going to do, there's really no rhyme or reason to this. You just go back and forth. I always try to do really long strokes when I'm doing a piece like this. And this is just going to really transform this and make it a really cute piece. It might go in your farmhouse, your cottage, or it might just go in someone's bedroom. So just pull it long strokes back and forth. This is just a really great paint. It's made here in Roswell, Georgia, and there's no sanding needed until I'm done if I want to distress it. And it dries in about 35 or 40 minutes. So see how I'm just taking those big long strokes, trying to cover as much of the piece as I can. And you don't really need any special brushes with this either. I'm just using this little floppy handle brush from Home Depot. It's a Worcester brush. It has a little plastic handle, so that's really good for your hands. So this is going to dry. I'm going to do the sides here. I don't really feel a reason to do the back or a need, because you're not really going to see it. But if it's in a place that you're going to see, you might want to do the back. So I'm going to finish this and I'll get right back with y'all, show you the next step. Step is I'm just going to cover the top of the cedar chest, and I am choosing to use burlap. That seems to be like a real universal type of fabric these days. So I've doubled my burlap because I really don't want to see this pattern underneath. So I've taken it off. I've turned it over. It's already padded. Should your piece not be padded, just go get some foam from your nearest fabric store. Kind of double it up, or you might even just want to buy a piece of foam. So I've taken this and I've measured it so all my sides will come in. And I'm going to take my staple gun and I'm going to pull in my corners first as far as I can. So like when I go to do my corners, they will already be angled in. And this is kind of something new I'm trying, because usually I go from side to side, but we'll see how this works. But you can also use bead bags or potato sacks or something like that if you like. So since this is already in, I'm just going to take this down, fold it up so I have a good corner, and I'm just going to pull that. And I'm just going to go around the whole thing and pull it as taut as you can. And well, I'll show you what it looks like when we're done. Okay, so I pulled in the corners, I've done the ends and the sides, and you're just going to pull it as taut as you can. And when you get it all stapled and you feel good about it, I still have a few more edges. It's all done. You just flip it over, and now it's all covered, so you have a nice new seat. Looks brand new. And now we're going to do the second coat of the paint, reattach this. I want to show you how to do the antiquing gel, and we'll have a whole new cedar chest. Thanks. As you can tell, this dried really well, and this is just one coat. So now I'm going to do coat number 2. I'm going to scoot over here really quick so you can see how I'm just going to pull it through. And this is a nice creamy color that will really go with just about anything. Gotta get the little hair out of my brush. If your brush happens to shed, sometimes you can get it off with a tweezer, but do it as soon as you can, like mine was trying to do just then. You can see this is really covering well. Remember, I'm going to put, and you can go right over hardware, locks, whatever you want. If you need to use the lock, you might want to tape it off, but I'm not going to need to. Remember those big long strokes again. As you can tell, I didn't sand this before I painted it. I just cleaned it with vinegar. A lot of people, they don't believe me that I'm not priming it or sanding it, but as you can tell in the video, I didn't. And this is dried really nicely. Get the bottom here. And in between coats, I kept my brush in just a Ziploc plastic baggie. I know they make some things out there now that you can keep your brush in between coats, but I just choose to use a Ziploc baggie. I'm going to just go from my edge, just pulling it back. I really try to pull the paint as much as I can so I don't waste paint. I try not to be a sloppy painter. There are some times that I am. And then I'm going to do the sides again. And then I'm going to show y'all how to antique it. I have 2 coats of the creamy linen farmhouse paint on this chest. So now I'm going to go over it. For me, this is enough. If you want a total coverage, just because it's creamy linen, it's more opaque, you might want another coverage of your creamy linen. So, but this is good for me. So I'm going to go over with the 220 sanding pad. You can get these at Home Depot. And I'm just going to, in a few areas, I'm really going to dig down deep. But for right now, I'm just going to go over it and sand it slightly. My table's a little rickety. But as you can tell, you're getting a chalky residue coming across it. And the more I go over this, the smoother it'll be. But because I want some of my areas a little bit more rustic, I'm going to take this. It's about a 180 or 150, and it's a sanding sponge as well. So I'm just going to go over it a little bit and just really take off some of those edges. It's kind of like when you're buffing a shoe. You just kind of want to go short, quick strokes. And then if I want in here a little bit, I have an angled one. So I'm just going to take that angle and just go in there and just take some of that off. So I'm going to continue doing this till I get it as distressed as I want it. And then I'm going to show y'all how to apply the antiquing gel. And now I'm going to go over the whole piece with a cotton cloth. Just want to go over it really good so when you're done, there's no chalky residual left. So you have a clean hand. You might have paint on your hand, but just go over that whole thing. And then I'm going to start with my farmhouse antiquing gel. And with this, I can just use a tester because it just goes a long way, and with the paint as well. And I'm just going to start on the bottom, and I'm probably doing this a little bit heavy, because I like my glazing a little bit heavier on some things. I'm going to put this on here. You do not have to do it this heavy. I'm going to get right here in this crevice and just pull again like I did before, big long strokes. And I'm just going to pull it across. Then I'm going to take my cheesecloth and I'm going to take in big long strokes and pull that, and you're almost pulling it off, or just pull it to the amount that you want. This has kind of like an auburnish red-brown color, so I'm just going to go over that. And then the second run that I go, I just keep folding my cheesecloth over, and you just want to go over it very, very softly. You can also go over it with a light, dry brush if you want to, but I kind of like to use my cheesecloth. And then I'm going to go to the upper level, and I'm going to pull it across and really get it in those crevices, because that's really where you want it to, whoops, I dripped it. That's really where you want it to stay. No rhyme or reason when you're putting this on, but just really get it in there. This has a pretty good open time, but you really do want to work in small sections. And because this is a little trunk, it's not that big. So I know that even in this Georgia humidity working outside, that I'll be okay. And I want to take my cheesecloth again, and the first run I just want to pull it, because this is the look that I want. And you don't have to put as much on as I did. You can work in small sections. And now I'm going to take some cheesecloth that's clean. I'm just going to fold it up like a pad, and I'm just going to lightly pull across. Kind of go in a rocking motion when I do this. And this is going to leave like little striae lines, and that's not the look I want. So I'm just going to take and go back and forth just really lightly, because I don't really want there to be a pattern to my glazing. And you can see that it's still left. Go back over it. It's still left in the little crevices. So you can pull off as much as you want or as little as you want. And then I'll show you all the top and we'll be done. Okay, we're done with our piece now. We have cleaned it with vinegar. We painted 2 coats. We put our gel on. We've sanded. We've done all of our things. The next thing I'll do, because this piece is going to get used a lot, you do not have to put a poly on it, but I do. And I use General Finishes exterior satin poly. So that's going to go over the whole piece. You can do 1 or 2 coats if you want, just a floppy handle brush, and then we're done. We have covered the top with burlap, and now you have a whole new piece. Thank you.